Man, I sure do love the video game known as Deltarune. You know what else I love? My friends! Hello lovely viewers, call me Denied. This video is all about dressing up my friends in the Lamau gang, as well as the little guys who you should definitely check out on my channel, with Deltarune cosplays. These are all done by who matches the character best. Some are better than others, but it's all in good fun at the end of the day. I partly wanted to do this so I could get back into drawing after not doing so for a few weeks. But it's also just because I simply adore Deltarune's character design and have been on the Deltarune craze since chapters 3 and 4 came out last year. The craze only being made stronger with the release of chapter 5. And since I've got such a large cast of colorful characters for friends, I thought this idea would be real fun. Without further ado, let us begin. For future reference, I'll be putting my friends here, the characters here, and the cosplay here. We're starting off with someone unexpected. It's old Ricky. A rather quiet person, someone who doesn't have a huge and outgoing personality, so we give him Chris. And, wow. That is not great. Looks weird. Looks a bit off. I mean, the hat with a wig under it is funny, but, he's just kind of lifeless. I guess that's in character, but maybe the Dark World can make it look better, and nope. This is, Maybe I should have put him in a different pose, huh? But see, that's the problem. There's no good pose that Chris does in both the Light and Dark World, so I would need to create two different poses, and, sorry, buddy. Looks like you're getting the short end of the stick on this one. I'll make it up to you sometime. Now, Saf, I know you're watching this, and you don't know very much about Deltarune, but you gotta listen to me, man. You and Susie? Perfect. Absolutely f***ing perfect. I know, might sound weird at first, but I know you at least know who Susie is. Just think about it for a sec. Leather jacket, badass shtick, giant weapon like your favorite spiky hair man, good sense of humor. It's just perfect. Really, the hardest part about the design was trying to figure out how to handle the hair, because I didn't want to just do the same do, but giving you long hair felt very wrong. I think the final result was a very nice compromise in that regard. And to top it off, here's the Dark World design as well. You know, Saf, purple and dark pink actually fit you quite nicely, I'd say. This is probably one of, if not the biggest no-brainers in the gang. I'm sure even anyone that looks at Banana Mage here would be able to tell that Rousey is the perfect match. I mean, hell, even after finishing it, the design really doesn't look all that different aside from colors. The only things that are different is the heart on the cloak changed to a banana and the ears got pointier to mimic the horns. And I mean, that's it. Banana Mage and Rousey share the same design. And the design is super simple. Oh, and here's him with the hat, I guess. Cheers. Cordy is the biggest goofball of the gang, in the best possible way. And though he's a little too tall, Lancer's gotta be the perfect fit. Lancer's outfit is pretty indistinct. Gloves or mittens, hoodie or spandex, shoes or socks. Well, I gave him blue gloves and socks, but I wasn't about to put my friend in spandex. So I just recolored his t-shirt and gave him some shorts instead of jeans. And he already has an icon on his shirt like Lancer. Not only that, but I'm able to keep the L on his hat and still have it make sense. Putting him in the usual Lancer pose looked very awkward with how much longer his limbs are compared to Lancer. So I decided to just do a clenching fist pump instead. The eyes / eye hole / mask / black spade shape thing, his tongue twister, on his face is a night mask, simple and effective. I contemplated making him ride the bike, but I opted out of it for ease of drawing and because Cordy just misfires everywhere anyway. But, I feel like there's something I could add. I just can't put my finger on it. Caden here is a pretty lighthearted fellow, with a touch of darker humor as well that some may not expect. So why not give her Noelle? She's already got the big bunny ears to cross big protuberances from the top of her head off the list, but her hair was tricky. I tried a few times to make curly, poofy hair get shaped closer to Noelle's, but I couldn't manage, so I just styled her hair like Noelle's without making it long enough to go down her back. I particularly like the heels that I've given her, of course trying to imitate Noelle's hooves. And of course, like the other Lighteners, I also made her Dark World outfit. The pixel art of the white cloak is understandably bare bones, so I spiced it up with some decorative snowflakes. Changed the skin tone and hair color, and that's about it for the design. This is a spoiler, but it's a good thing nobody ended up getting burly. Otherwise, we may have something weird happen. There was only one clear option for who would go to Booberry, and that's obviously gotta be Queen. I'm pretty sure Boo is the only one in our gang that would even refer to herself as a queen, and her sense of humor matches up pretty well to boot, so it was a no-brainer. Booberry has a very simple look. A pink Luma with a tiara wearing little armband thingies to differentiate herself. Because of this, there was only going to be two directions with how she'd cosplay as Queen. Either it would look like a really bad costume, or it'd look like a miniature version of Queen. And I went with the one that just looks better. That being obviously the Mini Queen. I figured maybe Boo would be able to change her color because of magic or something for that perfect white tone, because a pink body with light blue and white clothes just didn't look quite right in the process. Still, I wanted to differentiate her a little bit more, so I gave her a differently colored tiara with blue gems to make it still Booberry coated. Plop on the big old head visor thingy as a helmet, add the shoulder spike thingies, put on a small vest, and blammo, you've got Booberry in a Queen cosplay. And/or Mini Queen. Before starting this project, old Kiarash here didn't actually have an official design for our gang, so of course, I had to make one. Kiarash's idea for his cartoon interpretation was to be a mob boss who likes making deals. So it was really convenient that I could just get to making his official design after realizing we made the whole list of character comparisons and didn't give anyone Spamton. Yeah, deadass, we forgot about Spamton, of all characters. Anyway, I was originally going to do both the regular and Neo designs, but after starting on the regular suit, I realized that Spamton's body was just way too small to look natural on Kia's extremely tall frame. So I moved straight to Neo. It's actually pretty fun to draw. The manic expression, the glowing wings, the weirdly shaped indistinct chest piece that nobody can really distinguish, and of course you can't have a puppet without its strings. So I put those across his body too. Overall, I'd say this one is rather clean, and definitely not lacking in hyperlink block. So, Spark is next. He's a real chill guy, not that crazy of a personality, and not really bombastic in any sense. So, let's give him the single most explosive personality that exists in Deltarune just because he's super tall. Okay, it's not just because he's tall like Tenna. There's a few visual traits that the two of them do share. They share yellow and purple colors, they're both associated with electricity, and even if he's not super crazy, I'd say Spark at least looks pretty charismatic. Just gotta put a TV on his hand and whammo! This guy looks ready for a physical challenge. I tried not to copy the suit exactly, but as is obvious, it's hard to do that with Tenna. I changed the TV to be SS for Spark skill, added yellow stripes to the gloves, the belt buckle is now a lightning bolt, the antennae are drooping down like his dreads, and gave him one of those pairs of cool shiny glasses to replicate the screen feeling. And of course, put on the party hat nose. And, as you've definitely noticed by now, not only is he super extra shaded in, but he's also got a bit of a 3D glow to him. It's not perfectly making him 3D, of course, but it's still making him look hella shiny, and I like it. Ah, there he is, Dylan, the old stoic bozo of our gang. The man himself actually helped me out with figuring this one out, as I originally had him as Chris. However, he had the much better idea of giving him the Roaring Knight. I was originally concerned with how I was going to do this, because if I go too close to the source material, then it just kind of looks like I put his face on the knight's body. So I did a little bit of a unique take on the outfit. It's still all pitch black, with highlights on the implied armor pieces and purple highlights to give more depth to it. Dylan had the idea of turning the glasses arms into antlers, which works phenomenally. I turned the knight's weird pointy hips into a belt that flares out a little bit, And obviously the glasses are glowing, because that never doesn't look cool. Slap on an After Effect and we've got ourselves a dang good night in our hands. As someone who absolutely positively loves King Dedede and giant hammers, it was a no-brainer to have myself fill the role of Old Man Gerson. Put myself into the old man trench coat, dye my hair pink, and even repurpose my teacup chair into being the shell on my back, as well as the bottom of the cane. I also added some D3 flair to it, with his belt pattern on the scarf and a puffball on the beret. But wait, do you hear that? Something ringing? That's right, the Hammer of Justice. I debated on whether or not I should do the old man outfit or the armored look, but Mage convinced me to just do both, and also suggested I incorporate a little bit of masked Dedede into the design, so that's what you see here. I don't think it's perfect, it definitely looks pretty goofy, but that's not necessarily a bad thing at the end of the day.
I'm old!
Man, it's a shame Queso's still busy on his mission. I'm sure he would have loved a spooky Halloween design for his Giga Cheese persona. Yep, that's right. Queso gets Jackenstein. And I mean, come on, it's a damn picture-perfect comparison with these two. Really, a lot of the work is just recoloring the body, but I made sure to give the pose some flair. I didn't go with any poses from the game since Jack really only has like 3, and they're all pretty awkward. The body decorations fit onto him real nice though, and the cheese head is so malleable you can just stick whatever you want onto it and have it work. Throw a candle inside his head for a glow and you've got yourself a perfect little Jackenstein cosplay. Mage is one of the only ones that wasn't an immediate match for some reason. And I say for some reason because, oh my god, neither me nor the man himself thought of Flowery until the exact same goddamn moment, and we're both the dumbest people alive.
Flowery.
Cocky, stupid catchphrases, pointy hair, billowing cape, I mean, come on! It was right there! The flower pin is replaced by a banana, and the cape, or rather the coat, is tied around his neck, which Flowery doesn't usually have. He's always just holding it all casual style. But regardless, this one really was just as simple as putting on his clothes and creating the exact same character.
Goodbye.
And now we're tackling the little guys, who, as you might have guessed, are each representing one of the colored flowers. And as such, Teddy starts us off. And who's the first flower you meet? That would be Aqua. Teddy's not all that impatient or mischievous, he just fits the body type for Aqua is all. A trend with the little guys is that their skin does change to mimic the flowers, but like they dyed their fabric, it's not one-to-one. The clothes here are one-to-one though, and the golden nose gets dyed red for visual clarity. Side note, I never noticed how strangely shaped Aqua's hair is. I mean, the outfit isn't really inaccurate at all. It's just that it's always going to be awkward to put clothing onto a lamp. Yes, Barley, of course, gets to be Seth. His cloak is kind of just floating around his lamp stem, but there's pretty much no workaround for that without a lot of extra work. It helps that a lot of his parts were already a shade of purple, and I do like the glasses even if they are a little bit much. The wig, though, is pretty weird, but the good kind of weird, I think. Based on personality, Brownie has no similarity to Green aside from a love for food, so I chose the sassiest possible thing Green's ever done for the pose. Green's strange posture is hard to mimic, and it's not one-to-one at all, but moving the shoulder up to be comically high is a good enough fix. I quite like the little rain boots for the feet. Forget Banana Mage and Queso, this has got to be the single easiest comparison out of everything. Not only is it an easy comparison, both of them being tiny little mammals with inferiority complexes, but it was also by far the easiest design to draw, all because Orange herself isn't even drawn with arms, just floating gloves. I don't need to explain further. Blanky has guns. Yellow has guns. This might be the single worst comparison in the entire group, but you gotta work with me here. I think I cooked pretty hard with this one. The gun is pretty dinky, but that's not the main focus. Reworking his tag into a cowboy-looking bandana scarf thing, shaping his cloth to mimic the shape of his legs. See, this is why I love drawing Blanky so much. Even though a moving blanket should never work, it just can, and it does. Blanky says, "F you," it's awesome. Boo Boo and Blue share nothing but hue, but does Boo Boo in Blue's garb fit? No clue! This design is very cluttered, but my biggest gripe is that there was no way to fit in the tail naturally without making it hard to tell what's going on. At least I got it to a point where you can tell what it is when you look at it a bit longer than just a second. But wait, hang on, I feel like we're forgetting Tony Macaroni. Only wears a maid bonnet because the most famous thing he's done in the group chat is send a picture of himself in a maid outfit. And that's why he gets pink. I mean, there isn't really that much to say about this design. I colored him pink, made his macaroni form a cat mouth, changed his name tag, and gave him ginormous anime hair. He's got the ruffled skirt too, but not nearly as detailed. You couldn't threaten me to draw ruffled skirts properly. That shit was terrifying. And that's that. I had a great deal of fun making all these. I love working with such dynamic character designs, and I can thank both my friends and Toby Fox for that. Thank you all for watching, and have a lovely day. It's a shame that there's still so many iconic characters that got left out, though. Like Birdly, Rules, the Mikes, Jevil? Oh man, we're missing Jevil. That hurts. Well, nothing I can do about it now. I already drew all the designs and edited the video. The video that should have ended by now. Hey, wait, yeah, what's going on?
This cheese is pissing me off. I'm the cheesy Star Walker.